Public speaking is anxiety-inducing to most people. In fact, I have clients who would pay me thousands of dollars just to help them manage or overcome their stage fright. Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. My name is Kian. I run a company focusing on corporate training, business consulting, and employee engagement. We've worked with more than 10 multinational companies and more than 2,500 employees across 15 different countries. And today, I'd like to share with you an important tip that I found to be helpful in managing your stage fright and in elevating your performance in public speaking. And that tip is to look at your individual audience members rather than treating your performance as something that's going to be viewed by a large group that you're not familiar with. So what you want to do is that instead of looking at your audience as a crowd, as non-human, you want to look at them individually. A few things would happen when you do that. The first thing is that you would place a lot of your focus on your audience members instead of yourself. And that is important because self-consciousness happens to be highly correlated with shame. In fact, self-consciousness is what makes up shame. We experience shame and anxiety when we think too much about ourselves. So then the questions you might have in mind will be something like, hey, am I speaking correctly? Is my tone funny? Are my gestures natural? Am I moving around awkwardly? And so forth. On the other hand, when you place your focus on other people, you're less likely to experience shame. The second thing that could happen when you start looking at the audience members individually is that you start collecting non-verbal feedback and data from them. So for example, when or if an audience member happens to be smiling, nodding, then that's probably a sign that they agree with you and you're on the right track as far as delivery is concerned. Maybe they like you. They like the way that you deliver your message. They agree with the content. They think that what you share is easy to follow. On the flip side, if they're frowning, they're shaking their head, now if this is intentional and you want them to react like that, then perhaps the controversial message that you're sharing is in fact effective. Or if you don't intend for them, your audience members, to react that way, then maybe it's a sign that you're perhaps speaking too quickly, your message is unclear, your sentences are convoluted, you should probably pause, slow down, you should probably even cue that audience member and say, hey, I see that you appear a little confused, do you have a question for me? And from my experience, often when that happens, that audience member does have a good question for you. And when you do that, you're also able to then control the pace of your delivery because it's not so bland, a one-way interaction where only you are speaking. You're also cueing your audience members so that they can also contribute and they probably would appreciate it. Now, another third thing that would happen is that you can be strategic about which audience member you choose to look at. You could, for example, especially when you're feeling extremely nervous and anxious, look for people who are smiling because that would induce oxytocin. You're probably going to feel more energized, more enthusiastic, more positive, and all these positive emotions and reactions would contribute to you delivering a presentation that is better. So the next time you prepare for a presentation and you're anxious about it, don't think about speaking with a large crowd or a large group. Think about speaking with individual audience members. Speak as if you would converse with one individual, except of course in this case you are kind of switching between people as you speak because you're looking at different people as your presentation goes along. And I believe that will really be beneficial for helping you manage or overcome your stage fright.